All right, let's jump right in. We're about to break down the essential intel from the 2026 Lake Norman Waterfront Acquisition Guide. And if you're even thinking about buying property on the lake, this is the briefing you need for a serious strategic advantage. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll cover the biggest challenge, the #1 mistake buyers make. Then we'll dig into the financials with the 4-county tax matrix. After that, we're navigating the water itself. And finally, we'll wrap it all up into your winning strategy. You know, it's so easy to get caught up in the view, the dock, the house itself. But the real high-stakes game, that's played long before you ever step on a property. The most critical decisions are actually made by looking at maps and data, not floor plans. So let's start with a really crucial question, one that gets right to the heart of a successful purchase. It's a mistake that can cost you tens of thousands of dollars over the years. And believe it or not, it has absolutely nothing to do with the home's price tag. And here it is. The answer isn't about paying too much for a great view. It's about completely overlooking an invisible line on a map that has massive financial consequences. See, the lake is split across 4 different counties, and not getting the implications of that is, by far, the costliest error you can make.
So this brings us straight to our first area of reconnaissance, the tax matrix. And when I say there's significant financial arbitrage between these 4 counties, I mean it is an absolute game changer for your long-term cost of ownership.
Just look at this number, $60,000. On a $2.5 million property, that's the potential difference in property taxes you'd pay over just 10 years, depending on the county. I mean, that's a luxury boat, a nice car, a huge chunk of an investment, all decided by which side of a county line you land on. And what's so powerful about this chart is just how clearly it lays it all out. You can see Mecklenburg way over on the left with the highest rate by a country mile. Now, slide your eyes all the way to the right to Catawba County. Its rate is nearly 40% lower. This shows you, plain and simple, that your choice of county is a major wealth preservation decision. So what this really boils down to is that each county represents a different strategic trade-off. Catawba is your value king, no question, lowest carrying costs. Iredell is kind of the standard for that high-end inventory, especially around Mooresville. Lincoln offers a really nice balance. And Mecklenburg, well, you're paying a serious tax premium for that direct commute into Charlotte's financial hub. Your lifestyle might pull you one way, but your wallet needs to see these numbers. Okay, so we've covered the money, but beyond the finances, the physical reality of the lake, well, it has its own set of totally non-negotiable filters. These are the technical details that can make or break a property for you, no matter how amazing the house is. First up, you've got to know about the 760 line. Think of it as the official high water mark. It's basically a hard legal boundary. Your property ownership usually stops right there, and any plans for a new dock, a seawall, anything below that line, that all falls under Duke Energy's rules and requires specific permits. You just have to know this. Now, this one is huge. Anybody can have water at their dock when the lake is full in the summer, but the real test is the winter drawdown, when the water level is lowered. A seller can claim year-round water all day, but you have to verify the depth at the end of your dock during this period. If you don't, you might find your very expensive boat sitting in the mud for a few months every year. And finally, a critical hard filter for anyone with a high-profile boat, especially those big wake boats with towers. This number, just 6 feet of clearance at the Williamson Road Bridge when the lake is full, that's a hard stop. If your boat's any taller, this one bridge can literally cut the lake in half for you, dictating where you can and cannot go. So how do we combine all this financial and physical intel into a strategy that actually wins? Well, it all comes down to adopting a very specific mindset, an acquisition doctrine that puts data way ahead of daydreams. This right here is the core philosophy. This is the big idea that separates the savvy investors from the buyers who just get caught up in emotion. You do the reconnaissance work first. You analyze the taxes, the water depth, the navigation, before you ever let yourself fall in love with the house. And your process should follow these exact steps, in this exact order. First, filter your entire search by the county tax rate that fits your financial plan. Second, for any property that makes that cut, verify true year-round water depth. Third, confirm all the navigational clearances you need. And only after a property passes those 3 hard filters do you finally move on to step 4, evaluating the house itself. So this explainer has given you the framework for a successful purchase. The next step is to actually put it into action. You can use tools like real-time depth charts and county tax calculators, you can find some at zizzyhouse.com, to start your own analysis. The key takeaway is this: on Lake Norman, the smartest buyers win the game before they even see the field.